In spite of our existential dilemma, even sometimes as devotees, we think, I don't know, I've been here so many years. It doesn't seem like it's working. I feel so depressed. Sometimes devotees feel depressed. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe I should just go. We have some kind of existential crisis like that, like Arjuna is having. If at that time something kicks in and we say, no, I don't care. Let me suffer. Whether you show your face to me, Krishna, or don't show your face to me, whether I suffer or whether I'm happy, I don't care. I'm going to continue with this. Tato bhajeta mam pritaha shadalodina nishchayaha jusamanastatang kamam dukkha darkam shtagaraya. Maharaj quoted a nice verse this morning. Jeta shadamakatasu nivina sarva karmasu vedita kapa kam kamam dukkha darkam shtagaraya. Not Maharaj, but Prabhuji is speaking. That in the 11th canto, Krishna tells Arjuna that sometimes people, Jatashadamakatasu, they have faith in my kata. Jatashadamakatasu, Navina Sarva Karmasu, they're disgusted with material life. Vedidakapakankam, they know if I do these illicit activities, I'm going to suffer. But Puritige Panishvaraha, they can't give it up. And Krishna says in the next verse, what you should do. Tato bhajeta mam pritaha shadalurjita nishchayaha. Jusamanastatang kamam dukkha darkam shtagaraya. That you should continue. You should have great determination. You should continue with your bhajan. And when someone does that, something happens. Jiva Goswami speaks about this here. Yattu bhaktanam sukham tattasya bhakti rupameva. Bhakti is what gives us happiness. Tatatesham dukkam cha bhagavat prapt antarayanaiva bhavati. When we can't connect with Krishna, with Gurudev, with the Vaishnavas, that's what causes us suffering. But in spite of that, if we have firm determination, I'm not going to give up. I have faith in this. Maybe I have a taste, maybe I don't have a taste. But this is my life. This is all there is. And I'm going to continue with my bhajan. And an amazing thing happens. Jiva Goswami says, Tatya Bhagavateva Chitra Drakta Jayate Sacha Bhakta Evati. When Krishna sees your determination, in spite of the suffering that you're going through, Krishna feels something. And he says, Chitra Drakta Jayate. Krishna's heart melts. Sometimes we tell the story from the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. It begins with Vina Ramena. One day, without Balaram, Krishna and the boys went out to herd the cows. Prior to that, Mother Yashoda had given Krishna a stern instruction. Gopal, you can go anywhere in Braj, but don't go near Kaliya Hrada. You stay away from that lake of Kaliya. Krishna said, yes, Mother. And then immediately afterwards, he went to his older brother. And he said, Balaram, Mata's telling me like this, but the cows, they go here and there, and I can't control it. And Balaram said, I understand. He said, okay, you can go. But don't go in the water. Stay away from the water, Krishna said. So that morning, Vina Ramena, because it was Balaram's birthday, the boys and Krishna and the cows went out forest. And that day the cows, the young calves, were going ahead, and the boys were following behind them. And at the back was Krishna playing his flute. And the cows, it was a very hot day, Jiva Goswami describes in Lama Vaishnava Toshini. And the cows were suffering from the heat of the sun. And they were looking for some green grass and some water. And they saw a place they'd never gone to before. And they went there. And it was Kaliya Hrada. And the cows drank that water, which was heavily poisoned. And the cows began to choke, and they died. And a moment or two later, when the boys arrived, they're dancing and joking and playing with each other, they stopped. And they saw their beloved cows all laying there dead. And the boys were just stunned for a moment. And then they decided, Jiva Goswami says in Gopal Champu, better we kill ourselves. How can we face Krishna? How can we tell Krishna that we failed? So they went and they drank the water. And the boys fell over dead. And Krishna came a few minutes later also dancing and playing his flute in a very happy mood. And he stopped. And he saw something, the most horrific thing he'd ever seen. All of his friends and his two calves laying there dead. And Jiva Goswami says at that time Krishna began to lament. And Krishna thought to himself, what am I going to do? How can I return to Vrindavan? What will I tell Sri Rama's mother? What will I tell Madhu Mangal's mother? That they're dead. How can I do that? How can I speak to them? And Jiva Goswami then says something happened. That Krishna's personified love for those boys came out of his heart. And it came through his eyes in the form of his tears. Krishna began to cry. And those tears fell on the bodies of the boys and on the cows, and they came back to life. Those tears brought them to life. And this is very similar to what Jiva Goswami is saying here in Paramatma Sundara. Tatra Bhagavat Yeva Chitra Jata Jayate. That when Krishna sees they're going through such a difficult situation, but he's not giving up, she's not giving up her bhajan for me, then Krishna's heart melts. And when Krishna's heart melts, what happens then? Sacha Bhaktir Evati. When Krishna's heart melts, that becomes our bhakti. It's not a bad thing. So there's another meaning to Vishad. Vish means poison, and Ada means to accept. So Vishad Yoga means that I accept the lamentation. I don't deny it. I don't want to run away from it. Rather, I embrace it. This is good for my bhajan. Let me pour out my heart now to Krishna. I'm not going to give up on my bhajan. I'm not going to give up on my guru and the Vaishnavas and my service. I'm going to continue no matter what. It's the test of the guru, the test of Krishna. And when Krishna sees that the devotee is so sincere like that, then Krishna's heart melts. And when Krishna's heart melts, that becomes our bhakti. My Guru used to say, once he said that, when you cry for Krishna, the Hladini Shakti enters your heart and reveals who you are and who your Guru is. So Jiva Goswami says, he concludes, Tasmad ubayata bhaktan anandane tad bhaktanubhava eva bhagavantam pravarta yatiti. The material suffering and material happiness are both meant to bring the soul to the Supreme Lord and to the happiness of bhakti. So for the devotees, they don't mind suffering as long as they can think of Krishna. Vrindavan Das Thakur, he describes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, in chant Hare Krishna in response. Garba basa dukkha prabhu eho mora bhala jadi tora smriti mora rahisara kala Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Garba basa dukkha prabhu. When the living entity is suffering the terrible pains in the womb, he prays, I don't mind these sufferings, as long as I can always think of you. Se dukkha vipad prabhu rahu bare bara jadi tora smriti take sarva veda saramo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Say dukkha vipad prabhu. So the devotees, they pray, just as Queen Kunti prays, vipadashantu tasya tatra tatra jagadguru. Give me these sufferings. My Guru said, you're not on that platform. Don't pray for that. But the advanced Vaishnavas, they pray like that. Give me these sufferings. And for those of us who are aspiring to be devotees, we should accept it. We shouldn't run away from it. Say dukkha vipad prabhu rahu bari bar. Let these dangers come again and again, because these help me to remember you. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in order to liberate the forgetful materialistic living entities from their absorption in matter and arouse their inclination toward Him, the Lord has provided them with innumerable sufferings, from the external point of view appear to be punishment, but from the internal point of view are evidence of great compassion. We should understand we're going to suffer. We're going to suffer in this world because we're going to be tested severely by Guru and Krishna. Maybe you might aspire to become like the gopis, and if you become like the gopis, then you're really going to suffer. It's the greatest suffering in all the three worlds. We don't tell people that when they come in the door the first time. We tell them, just chant, dance, and be happy. Everything's very, very good. But later on, we can tell the devotees, no, you're going to suffer. And that suffering is very good. We should embrace that. This is Vishad Yoga. So I'd like to conclude with a little exercise, if I can have your cooperation for a minute. I'd like to just give maybe 1 minute of time. Each of you please just sit and contemplate. And I'd like you to think about some very, very difficult tests that you had. Now, many of these tests are very personal. And we don't want to speak about those things. It may be something very private. But please think about what you did in response to that test. How did you react to that test? Did you go and eat 3 kgs of ice cream? Or did you read an extra chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Did you chant more rounds? What did you do in response to that suffering situation? So we'll give you 1 minute, okay? Please everybody just sit and contemplate that. Just think about the most difficult situation you had to face in your life and how you reacted to it. Okay, so maybe we'll stop there. And now I'd like to see if anybody would like to share with us your thoughts. How did you react to this most difficult situation? Anybody want to share that with us?
I was once cooking for 100 devotees and night, and then some guests came out in the kitchen, and the whole kitchen exploded with me inside. And I was in the hospital for 2 months, and I was big like a fried Gaura. But when I came to the hospital, it was New Year's Eve, and so I'm in pain. I saw some people there from the bed, and I wanted to make them happy because it was New Year's Eve. So I started singing in the bed, Hare Krishna to you. And then I shouted to the doctor that, is it okay I chant some mantras? And they said, yes, yes. And I was just screaming, Hare Krishna, like for many months in the bed. And today I'm just very thankful because before that time I couldn't relate really to old people. They were like another species of life. But after that experience, I felt like you were saying that if you have experienced something, then you may be better able to understand another person's suffering. So today I feel very grateful. I don't know if I would be able to react in the same way, but at that time, I got that test at that time. Yeah, I was, I think, a little bit able to respond.
One thing I found myself, and I've heard from other devotees too, that when we're in such a situation, even if we need to respond a little bit in a mechanical way, in a very difficult situation, we know this is a big test. When we decide I'm going to chant more rounds every day, I'm going to go to the evening program, which I usually don't go to, or I'm going to do some extra thing, then it's like your mind is being given instruction, and your mind gets used to, oh, now, whenever there's a calamity, whether there's a crisis, this is what I do. I take shelter more. It helps. That's a very nice story, thank you. Anybody else? You don't have to tell your calamity if you don't want it, but the solution. Anybody else want to share a solution with us and how to get it? What to do?
Well, I turn to Krishna and I would pray that now I can't tolerate this. I don't know how I can. It's not possible to tolerate this. It's now Krishna has to help me to tolerate.
There's different types of crying. But that kind of crying when we have no hope, when there's no hope, there's no solution for us, that kind of crying is the best kind of crying. That's the deepest kind of crying. That's very nice, thank you. Anything else?
Well, it was like a prolonged period, so I had a long time to think about what I would do. In the beginning I was like fighting against it, like not physical pain but emotional pain. So in the beginning I was like fighting against it, but after some time I start thinking that, well, Krishna has placed the suffering in this world for a reason. So I tried to look at it as one kind of a friend, like to embrace it. Let it go through me to see what happened instead of fighting against it. And I actually found out that letting it go through me, like just letting it go and see what happened with it, actually it cleansed. You know, of course I cried and all the other things, but I felt relieved and cleansed afterwards. And I overcome like the situation, like on the emotional platform, not to see the suffering as my enemy.
So we get some wisdom from that. And when we don't, when you're saying it that you just let it go through, it evokes to me the thought of, I'm not trying to do it. The Krishna is just up to you. And I can't fight against this thing. And in that situation, we become wiser, we learn something. So, any last comments? Anybody? Mataji?
I have thrown myself into readings of Bhakti
Threw yourself in the readings of Bhakti
and brought out a very big change.
Oh, that's wonderful. The songs?
Songs mainly, but also some.
Also some other things too. Yeah, that's very beautiful. Because they're singing these songs which are full of very powerful feelings. And they're doing it for us. So when we're suffering, when we have this very difficult experience, we should take shelter of those. That's very, very nice. Thank you. So I just want to mention to everybody that we're going to have another session of this. It's going to be a concluding session. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the last chapter of the 10th canto, in his commentary, he says famously, Madhavananda Samarpayat, you should finish with something very sweet. So we'd like to speak about how this Vishad Yoga obviously talks about Radha and Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that'll be the day after tomorrow, 12:15 to 1:45. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktavinda ki jai, Premanande Amcha Gaura